Hey you guys, good evening. Welcome to another live. This is our Talk and Thrive series. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Carissa Tracy. I'm a physical therapist and I work with the birth to 5-year-old population. So pediatrics is my jam. I'm the founder and owner of Pearl Pediatric Therapy here in town. We serve New Braunfels, Texas. So if you're new, welcome. This is our Talk and Thrive series. Topics come in from you guys. I speak to them, and then you go out, thrive in the world with the information that you learn and share with your loved ones. So tonight, this is a question that has come up over and over again, and it's about containers in the first year of life. So there's all these different stages in the first year of life, and parents are always asking what's good and bad. And they'll say things like, should I buy this or this? And often, if you ask a pediatric physical therapist, you'd actually be pretty surprised because sometimes the two choices you give me that are pretty mainstream, options, I'm like, neither. And sometimes I'll say, not A, not B, not C, D. So I really like to put this out there so families know this is for any parent that is expecting. If you have a pregnant friend, pass this along to them because they're probably doing their baby registry and all that stuff. If you know someone that has a newborn or has just brought babies home from the NICU and they're still so little and they haven't got to all that exploring phase, please pass this along to those families because a lot of times people end up coming to see physical therapists because they're in containers all day in the wrong order of development. Babies overdevelop things that they're not ready for, and so they get all these funky patterns and they end up calling us. So I know it seems counterintuitive that I'm on here telling you things that would help you stay away from physical therapy, but I want to kind of re-explain PT and kids about people think of it as a bad thing, like that means you have an injury, or that means you have a diagnosis, or that means you have something that you need us forever. Actually, no. I have a lot of families with babies or children with diagnoses that I get to see longer amounts of time because we're working on huge goals, And so, yes, we stay with some families long term. However, there's also kind of a missed little pocket where people don't understand that a pediatric PT is a specialist of movement and development. And so when you're in that first year of life, we're preventative, okay? And so we can really save you some time, save you some stress, and save you some bad habits that babies develop from these containers, okay? So let's get to it. So when you have a new baby and all they can do is really lay on their back and play with things, the biggest thing that I would recommend are play spaces that are safe. That's really all you need to worry about when a baby plays on their back. So bassinet, pack and play. I like a large bassinet for bedside because it becomes a play space in your living room or your playroom or things later in life. And so I like having that large bassinet flat space. Pack and plays, of course, people have had them forever and ever and ever, and there's a reason. It's this safe, enclosed environment, horizontal play. So that's the first container I would recommend when babies are playing on their backs and they're doing tummy time. Okay? If they're doing tummy time, they're safe to do it in the pack and play. They're safe to do it in a large bassinet, even if you have a Great Dane. Because we did when my daughter was young. And I was like, where can I put her that is safe, that she's not going to get trampled? That's what we did. We had portable, horizontal, safe play environments for babies that are on their backs and babies that are on their bellies. This is for if you have a house full of dogs or cats or toddlers, you need a safe place for baby. Don't avoid putting them on the floor because your house is crazy. That's not a reason. Okay. The container I would stay away from when your baby is in the phase of laying on their back or playing on tummy time a lot. The ones I would stay away from would be car seat too long. So if they're in the car, they need to be in the car seat, great. Do not let your baby sleep in the car seat. Do not bring your baby in from the car and they happen to doze off and you're like, I'm just gonna leave them in the car seat for their nap or whatever. This is not coming from a place of judgment, guys. It's just coming from experience. Babies that spend too much time in that elevated position in a car seat past what they actually need to be traveling They get the gravity pulling down the chin, they get all the pressure on the back of the head, and they get the flat spot back here, okay? And so I'm just telling you, you know, so that you can avoid that big flat spot. It's a trend we're seeing rise this day and age because people are either, you know, like, hey, car seat for like grocery shopping and stuff. Remember, your baby's in that car seat if you take them in the carrier. So I'd recommend like wearing baby if you're gonna go grocery shopping or like longer amounts of time. Keep them out of the car seat if you can. People don't realize that if it's not for travel, that's not the best place for baby. Swings, same thing, same position. It's good if you're calming and you're just doing a little bit of swing time while you're cooking dinner, but don't overuse the swing. Daycares, if you're a daycare teacher, please, babies in this position, remember that chin tuck elevated position. Don't let the baby stay there very long. I know that y'all need a safe place for them. You're changing one baby's diaper and so another baby goes somewhere else, but I would much rather any daycare or teacher or caregiver that's watching a baby, don't leave them in these elevated positions. Just put them on the floor. Just let them be in a horizontal play environment, okay? The other one I see that I see moms all the time comment, it's the best thing ever, but I'm like, you're gonna come have to see me. Rock in place, those elevated rock in place, same flat spot pressure. Now, the only caveat to this, guys, is if your baby has reflux and feeding issues and your doctor has said they have to be in an elevated kind of position post-feed, it's a whole different thing. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about typical babies. They need to be horizontal. They need to be able to look, you know, both ways while they're on their back and kind of half roll and work on all that movement. You don't want them in things that have seatbelts a lot. That's a cue to people. If it has a seatbelt, it's not the best place for baby for long amounts of time because they're not going to roll. They're not going to weight shift, okay? So that kind of takes us through, I'm thinking through the first year of life. So on their back and belly, we went over what I like and what I would kind of stay away from. When you get to the sitting, I did a separate video on this, but bumbo does the work, not the baby. The babies look really cute and perky in it, but that's because the whole part around their butt and hips is just like, just holding them up there. I mean, they look good, but it's pseudo. It's not real. It's just the bumbo doing it. Best place for baby for sitting would be a boppy behind them, okay? Let them feel the floor. Let their sit bones feel the floor. Let their weight shift feel the floor, okay? So I'd stay away from bumbos. The only container, if I have to recommend one for the sitting snapshot of life, I would say no on the bumbo, yes to the boppy behind them, and another yes would be the Fisher-Price Sit Me Up. I like that one. If I have to choose a container for a sitting, I choose that one. I have some micro preemies that, you know, they were born so early, they're a little late to sit sometimes and things like that. If they need a container, especially if it's mom of twins, triplets, and they're like, I gotta set baby somewhere, I got another one to change, I got another one. The Fisher-Price Sit Me Up I do like because it has a tall ring kind of at their nipple height. So baby, it's almost like, y'all think about a small little hula hoop around the top of you. So it's like baby can move and work and stuff, but they're still safe. And it's a sling seat, so their butt is still in contact with the floor. It's not like a firm seat where they can't feel their bottom. At least they can kind of feel what's going on, feel those weight shifts. They can feel like, oh, I overcorrected, I overshot. You know, they start to learn momentum a little bit while they're in there. So that's my sitting snapshot, what I would and wouldn't do for sitting phase. Now, when you guys get to a crawling phase for babies and pulling up at the couches, I did a whole video, and so I'll save it for that, on the truth bombs about push toys and when to use them and kind of that standing and cruising age. It's a really good video for that kind of stuff. So go back. We talked quite a bit on to start at couches and how to progress from there and when to introduce push toys. The last containers I wanted to talk about that I would say, boop, this is gonna be like, a lot of you are like, ooh, they're all on my registry. Baby walkers, I call them, like the spaceships where you plop the baby in the harness and they can run down here and they have a little tray in front. No. Little harnesses that connect to the door above where they can jump all day. No. Jumpers, put the baby in the harness and they have the 3 loaded springs and the baby can jump. No. Okay, now those 3, The reason I said no, don't be mad at me, guys. Just trying to help you out. Those 3 things introduce a movement for a baby before the baby can do it themselves. And so it's not guiding the movement, it's teaching them compensations and it's teaching them poor ways to do it. So if I have a baby that cannot stand, I don't want to have them jumping. If I have a baby that cannot stand and walk, I do not want to give them a harness so they can tiptoe all over my floor like a floating spaceship. Okay? Those 3 things, I would say, PTs get so many referrals and they think, oh, something's wrong, the child's not walking. And those 3 pieces of equipment and containers limit children walking. They actually cause delays in walking because people put the babies in so young. As soon as they can like hold their head up, they're plopping them in all these containers, little seats. And I want y'all to think, anytime the baby is in a seat, it gives the baby a false sense of stability in the back where the sling seat is and between the legs, kind of right here at the lower tummy. And so essentially all the muscles where the sling seats are, which are the same in those 3 things, the door jumpers, the exer jumpers, and the baby walkers where they fly like a spaceship on wheels, they all weaken over time the hips and the abs because the baby does not have to stabilize the center portion. Now, y'all visualize a baby standing up. If they turn off the butt and they turn off the abs, they don't stand. So when you put babies in those type of containers, you are delaying ab and booty hip coordination. You are delaying the coordination of this with this. When those work together, whoop, what do you know? Babies stand up. And when those work together and babies start using them, walking along couches and things that don't move first, they'll start walking. They'll start letting go of the couch. They'll start walking. When you put them in containers all the time, the only thing they can do is what's been given, which is contact with the toes and feet. And you can get some tiptoe walkers out of those baby walkers. They'll run across your room like nobody's business, but then you'll be calling me for tiptoe walking when you get them out, or delayed walking. That's usually, people call me for those 2 things when they're baby walkers. They love their baby walker. They're always in their baby walker. Why can they run across my living room in the baby walker, but they won't even stand? That's why. Or you get the jumping machines, which are the exercisers with the 3 loaded springs or the loaded spring from the door. Anything with loaded springs, no, y'all, because the springs are doing the momentum, not their muscles. So then when they stand up and they want to like jump or they want to use their muscles to weight shift like walking requires, they're thrown off. They're like, where's my spring? You know, they're waiting for something to lift them. So they're unsafe. They fall more often. They're delayed in walking, typically delayed in jumping, which is ironic, right? Because that's what those containers will say all over the boxes. So I hope this video has been helpful. I want you guys to know, for development, the best thing you can do for your baby is let them move against gravity. It's why all those adult like Camp Gladiator and all those type of training courses have blown up, and why adults are getting in shape, because when you use your own body's momentum, that's the way God intended us to figure out our own movement, our own momentum, our own safety. And so when we don't give babies that opportunity and we give them all this pseudo support and all these different containers, it's just gravity is not working the way it should in their little brains. They should be learning cause and effect. They should be learning, oh, that didn't work. They should be learning, oh, this does work. And when we put them in too many containers, we take out that problem solving in their brain, and we kind of delay the very thing that we're going for. Hey, Chelsea. Got a question coming in. What about when baby is pushing up to stand and can keep flat feet in a stationary stander? The comment's kind of long. And having the sling as a safety net lower than what they need to hold them up. Does that question make sense? Actually, it makes perfect sense, and that is the one way I did do with my own children. So you guys, what she is saying is, so I didn't go out and buy a baby walker. I had a more sturdy version of it that we had actually used in our clinic, where we took the seat off. There is one that I'll recommend, and it's that one. Let me think. It's the brand is Cole Craft. It's KOL Craft, but it's one word. Kolcraft, and I think it had like an Elmo on it or something design-wise. But that is the one type of baby walker that we got it in clinic because the sling seat that I'm talking about, you can actually remove. And it had a little bar that would rotate in or rotate out. So if the child was pretty weak, we could rotate it in, and their little body, the whole thing that would be outside of them like this, let's say it ended back here, so their body was within the walker. And I'll see if I can attach a link when I'm done, Chelsea. Or you can take that bar, instead of putting it inside the walker, you can flip it to the outside. And so that would be like almost like a push toy where the baby is behind it and the walker is right here and they're just holding on like a shopping cart. But it was very sturdy, it was very wide, it didn't tip. And again, I guess it would be considered a baby walker, but we as therapists know that's not what we want. So we were able to remove the seat, and it was used as a very stable base of a push toy for children that we had, because we had micro preemies that were like maybe had a brain bleed when they were little, and they had other diagnoses on board, and so they were often delayed walkers, not because the parents were doing all this container stuff, but for other medical reasons, and we needed something strong and safe for them to hold on to that was kind of taller than other typical push toys, because they were later doing these skills, so they were a little bit taller, a little bit bigger. And so that one, I will find the link and I will put it in. It's the only, I guess, quote unquote baby walker that I would recommend, but only if you take off the seat and you throw it away. It's only meant to be something they stand at with their own muscles, no little sling. Now, what Chelsea's talking about, you guys, is if you have a sling, I think this is what you're talking about, Chelsea. If this is a full stand and they have flat feet is a must, so I'm glad you said that. Good job, girl. So if they have flat feet, and this would be, the full height of the baby standing, so let's say the harness is right here, that Chelsea, I believe what you're saying is the harness is slightly lower so that the child would have to be in like a squat position, and the only way they're gonna push through to stand is if they're in 100% of their own body weight. If that's what you mean, then yes, that's okay, that's good. I would encourage you though, because it's so easy. I know I'm a busy mom. It's so easy to leave them there and then you get going around your house and then they're walking in the walker. So the only way I would say to do that is, number one, Chelsea, you're asking the right questions. You're totally aware that feet need to be flat. And if you have the harness lower and you're purposely right there, like making sure they're only working on a sit to stand, and the wheels, if there's any way you can put locks on it where it's not a moving spaceship, then yes, that could be good. Feet flat, squatting. And I think I have a picture doing that with my youngest that I might be able to find and post on here. Does that answer your question, Chelsea? Yeah, that's it. So that's exactly what you're talking about. So again, the only reason that would be an okay way to do it is because when the baby pushes through those legs, so they're kind of starting in this seated position, when they push through, the sling is so low that it is not holding them, and if they have 100% of their weight, then that's okay. But again, unless you have brakes on and you're not letting them walk anywhere, I just know as a busy mom, you walk away, you fold the laundry, you do the thing, and by the time you know it, they're walking around your living room in the spaceship walker, and those baby walkers are not good for them. So again, if you're super intentional on that activity, then you have my approval. Do you guys have any other questions? We've got Sarah on, Chelsea on, Mallory on, Tyler on. Do y'all have any other questions about containers? We're just talking about containers in the first year of life, ones that are things that if you have to put a baby in, that we would say, okay, a PT would say those are all right, but then some other ones that are getting the... And we're just kind of talking about, you don't want babies to have a false sense that they can do stuff that they really can't do. So whenever you put seatbelts or harnesses and those are coming into play, just keep in mind, is my baby actually doing this? Or does it just look like they're doing these skills because they're in these contraptions and containers and all that kind of stuff? Because if that's the case, they're better to be free and play. Go back if this video is really clicking with you and you're like, okay, I want to know more. One video that I specifically can think of that I want you guys to watch if your baby is in this kind of phase that we're talking about, there's a video on the Pearl Pediatric Therapy page called Truth Bombs about push toys or something like that. Truth Bombs about push toys. And it takes you through the progression of your child crawling up to a couch, pulling up and down, moving along the couch, and the process before they take their first steps. So it's a video. If you have a child that can crawl but cannot stand and walk, go back and check that one out. I hope these help you guys. Love all of you out there. I know we've got a mix of parents and therapists on here, so everybody that's a therapist out there, go out into the world, help all the people, make the profession proud. I love seeing good therapists out there, good strong therapists out there giving their all. Parents, if you're watching, you're an amazing parent if you're watching this, because that tells me you're proactive, you care, and you're open to learn. If you need any help with development, I'm a girl, call me, okay? I'm in the New Braunfels, Texas area. I can do telehealth for the state of Texas. I've had reach out of state, and I'm so sorry, our practice act, it doesn't allow us to cross state lines like that. I'm only licensed in the state of Texas where I live. So, but I am in contact with other professionals, and so if you live out of state, we did find some help for some other families. They're like, I'm from Florida, what do I do? And so we kind of got online and tried to get them to the right places. So even if you don't end up working with me, I would be happy to help you find someone in your area of connections that I have. I just want people to know that physical therapy in the first year of life is preventative in nature often. It's so worth it. Any delay you see, any compensation you see, any delays you see, just get on it, y'all. Help the baby before they keep adding on to poor habits. It's better to get in there. I don't even have to know the situation. It's better to get in there. Don't say, well, but if it's just this, and I think they'll get better by here and this and that. No. If it's my kid and you're my friend, I'm telling you, no, let's get in there. Let's figure it out. Let's make sure they're set up for success, and then let them fly. Like, we don't have to stay with them forever, but let's get in there. What problems are you seeing? Let us know. Let us problem solve and help you guys, okay? So, Chelsea, her daycare does not use the bouncers and swings. Would you just ask them not to put your child in those at all? Yep, I sure would. And first of all, if your daycare doesn't have any bouncers or swings, that is a step up. I will say, gosh, when I go to daycare settings, I see them like literally in rows. Like, has anybody seen that? When you go in a daycare and it's like the row of swings, the row of bouncers, and the row of those like recline things that they put them in. And so think about it this way, parents. If your baby is in the sling, those little kind of like bouncy ones that go like this, that have the little seatbelt right here, where they can kind of lay like this. If they go from that to the swing, let's say they take them out of the little recline and then they put them in the swing. Guess what? Same pressure, same position. Now they're swinging. Same pressure on the head. Still not rolling, still not rotating, still not moving, still not exploring, okay? And then, let's say they put them in the high chair. Well, they might have some freedom there with their head, getting a little bit of a break. But again, they're in a seatbelt, okay? So they're not exploring. Okay, do y'all kind of see? And then if they're like, oh, they're starting to crawl around and I don't want them to get into everything, and so then they stick them in a standing position in the saucer and then they jump. Do y'all see how that limits the baby through your whole day? Like, when you look at it like that, like the whole day, you're like, ooh, we didn't do rotation. Like, we didn't explore. We didn't look all over. We didn't, get into stuff like a baby should. So this is not a knock at daycare workers. This is not a knock at teachers, parents, or anybody that has multiple kids. Like, let's say you got twins and a toddler and another toddler. Let's say you got 5 kids at home. You have to put babies in safe places. So that's why in this video, I gave you safe containers, because there are times where you need to put baby in a safe place. I get that. But please, Chelsea, I would educate your daycare and just say, hey, I would really prefer that they not go in those things. So for my child, here's some alternatives. Like, I'd like them on the floor, on their belly, on their back. A lot of daycares have like the little cots, like sleeping spaces that they already have in the room set up for babies. And so you could say, instead of any inclined or kind of like these recline positions, like the swing or the little recline resting, I don't even know what people call those. Y'all know what I mean? They can like bounce like this. Just say, in lieu of that, if you can just put my baby like in the crib with some toys where they're on like tummy time, or they're on their back and just kind of playing. You might have to bring like those little, y'all know those little bars that you can hang like the little things that hang down from like their car seat where they can play and reach, like those little toys. Maybe bring a few for your child's crib and just be like, hey, can y'all just, work on tummy time, back time? It's much better pressure. This doesn't make sense for people unless I say it out loud. When a baby's in this position, they get all this pressure on the chin and their chin is down from gravity. The flat spot is so much more pressure than them laying on their back. And here's why. When you're on your back, the pressure is distributed like this, and every time the baby, if they look this way or they look this way, anytime the baby is exploring with their rotation, do y'all see how that is like pressure distributes, pressure distributes, pressure distributes, pressure distributes. So every time the baby looks left to right when they're laying on their back, think about it, they're almost getting their skull evened out in this nice round shape, because every time they turn, it's like a rolling pin, like rolling it out. Versus when they're in those containers, because it doesn't make them want to look side to side, they're often strapped in. That's where you get just like the pressure, because they're not like playing and exploring, and that's the difference. Also, when you lay on your back in a horizontal thing like a bassinet or a pack and play, all these neck muscles in the front have breathing room and they're nice and stretched out. And y'all know that diagnosis torticollis, that's when these big muscles in the front get short. So whenever babies are in this position where their chin tuck is kind of like stationary like that, the likelihood that these muscles in the front get tight is much higher. So, does that make sense? Okay. And then Chelsea said, or Lisa's here. Hey, Lisa, you and I have been back and forth, girl. Chelsea, they do have those, but thanks, I'll ask them not to put her in those. Yeah, I mean, you're the parent, so just ask them and just be aware that you're not the norm, and you need to probably educate your mom friends too. I mean, people just don't know. And you know what breaks my heart, y'all? The development, like the marketing on all this stuff on the side of it, it all says promotes development, But y'all know marketing and sales. I mean, think of the world we live in. It has to do one little itty bitty thing for them to be like, yeah, it promotes development, but they don't tell you all the stuff it doesn't. Home is here. We've been talking back and forth too. See, these are all my friends. Hey guys, so what questions do y'all have? We've got 5 more minutes. Do y'all have any open questions about, we're talking about first year of life and containers. Good and bad. When you're a busy mama and you need to place baby safely somewhere, we kind of went through the first year of life and some options, some good and some bad. If you guys are new to this channel, I want you guys to know these Talk and Thrives, I do them like every other day almost, of all kinds of topics. Go to the videos tab on my page. It's Pearl Pediatric Therapy. That's the practice that I own. Go there. Go to the videos tab. It's all free, y'all. It's just all baby video, till your heart's content. It's just free information. It's like, okay, world, here you go. Because I just know parents struggle. They struggle to find the right places. They struggle to find the right therapist. They're jumping through all these hoops. They can't figure out what's the best thing. And what do we all want? What's best for our baby? So they're there. Pass them along to friends and family. Okay, do y'all have any other questions on containers? Go back and watch this video from the beginning if you came on late. If you are here live, type live or at least one thing that you've learned. I love knowing, what did you learn in this video that you didn't know 30 minutes ago? What is one thing that you have learned? It really helps me know what's helpful for people. So if you've learned something and you're live, type it on there. If you're watching this on replay, and then tell me what you've learned too. I appreciate y'all's feedback. I send all love and good vibes out into the world. Until next time, from Texas, we're Texas strong. This is from our floods in Wimberley a couple of years back. From here, we send our love. Hope everybody has a wonderful day tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 3rd. I was going to say tomorrow is Valentine's, but no, it's just a Valentine's party at my kiddo's school. So I don't know how y'all feel about Valentine's. I think it's great that everybody celebrates love and affirmations and stuff. But I'm more of the mindset it should be all the time, every day, all day, y'all. You don't need a holiday to be nice to people and let them know you care. So affirmations to people in your circle, reach out, help a stranger, help people that you might not ever see again, but you know you could help and bring value to their life. Do it. It's the right thing to do. Okay? Love you guys. Bye. Oh! one more. Chelsea, question in the nick of time. Live. Oh, what you learned. How standards and those slings hinder development, but makes total sense once pointed out. Girl, yes, yes. That's why I hopped on to do this one, because I'm like, what do parents ask me over and over and over? And it's always like questions about this kind of stuff. But Chelsea, you go tell your friends, because I know, girl, from all the questions you're asking, you are super, like, you're engaged and you know what's going on. You're following this really well. Y'all think about wherever those slings are, those are the muscles it's turning off because it's just supporting it. So y'all, if somebody were to carry you around all day, you're going to lay back like a queen and eat your grapes. You don't work, okay? You have to be challenged to work. It's why, as adults, we don't like to work out. But once we're there, we're like, fine, that was better. That was good for me. But nobody likes to go. So yeah, of course the baby's gonna look happy in a sling or a container or something that is jumping for them or rocking for them. Of course they're gonna like it, but that doesn't mean it's good for their development. Okay, great. If the rest of you are on, go back and watch it from the beginning and tell me, what did you learn in this video? If you have topics y'all wanna know more on, I've got 3 more lives this week coming up. So if you want your topic to the top of the list, type in your topic below. Thank you, all of you, for tuning in live. Love you guys, and it's really neat. This is really starting to be a community because I have talked to most of you this week already. So it's really cool. It's really cool. So love you guys. Awesome to have you. Good night.